Hi, welcome back to the Drunk Linux User. I'm Len. I am the Drunk Linux User. And I did something a little bit different yesterday, but I thought it would be a good exercise in teaching you all how to do this if you've never done something like this yourself. So what we're going to do today is something a little bit different. We're going to install Windows, or get you started in installing Windows, after you've already installed something like Linux Mint, like what I've done. So to start off, you're going to need to do some things first to make sure that it's going to work properly. So here we go. My first suggestion is download the Windows 10 ISO from Microsoft. And if you have your codes, or if you sign in using your Microsoft account or 365 or whatever, you'll be all set with that. This website, like all the others I'm going to show you, will be in the descriptions. I'm doing this in a specific order because this is what worked for me the first time. Okay, I didn't have to do this or go back and fix something or reinstall my Linux or anything like that because I had made a mistake. I didn't. Everything worked perfectly. So what you're going to do is you're going to create something, or you're going to install something called the Whoa USB app. And it's going to need to be at least 4 gigabytes. I would suggest 8 just to be on the safe side. And the Windows 10 ISO file. Okay. Now, you cannot this is not in the regular Ubuntu repository. So you're going to have to set up a PPA for it, a personal package archive. And to do that, you just copy and paste these lines into your terminal. What it does is it collects from this server here, from tom/whoa-usb, and the sudo update and sudo apt install, and it puts it all in. You go ahead and run it. Okay. This is a really, really simple program. So after you've downloaded the Windows ISO file, you're going to find it probably in your downloads directory. So just click this to find it. Select the ISO file. Okay. And then you're going to want to put in your flash drive. Now, it's possible that the flash drive, and I know that it says FAT system right there. You can use that, but every once in a while I run into this little problem where the file system, or the files that are being copied over from this program here, USB to the target device, the flash drive, are bigger than what a FAT system can handle. So you need exFAT. If that's what's necessary, this is what you should do. You should go into, and using Linux Mint. Wow. You go into disks. This is already in your Linux Mint operating system, or it's already been installed. You're going to select the drive, and you're going to reformat it. Now, I don't have anything in right now, and I can't, but when you select here, you're going to... boy, this is really scary. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tell it to go ahead and I'm going to format a partition. When I format the partition... No, I'm not going to do it. It's going to ask you what type of file format you want to choose. You don't want to use the ext4. You don't want to choose FAT or FAT32. You want exFAT. It will be found in more in the directory when it comes down. I run out of USB ports. I would love to be able to throw in a thumb drive and show this to you, but I can't. So go ahead and click install. It'll probably ask for your password. Put that in, and it'll create your bootable USB drive. It's ready to install from that thumb drive, but you've got to do a little cleanup first. So you know, your Linux Mint or your Ubuntu or your Manjaro or whatever, you've got a thumb drive that you use to install your operating system with. You're going to need to boot into that and call up a program called gparted. Now, it's a partition editor, okay? And I've got two different web pages up here because people have different ways of learning things. This is just kind of like, wow, this looks like an awful lot. It looks a little intimidating. It really is not. If you're looking for something a little bit more simple, I'll have this page up as well, and we'll take a look at that later. You know what? I really need to keep that one tab open. There we go. So if this page right here is a little bit too complicated and you're not getting the what you're wanting, that's cool. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking a segment of it. Could be the whole hard drive right here. Okay, this is representing your whole hard drive, and say this whole thing has got Linux Mint on it. Okay, you need to make some room for Windows on here. And you might be asking yourself, why the hell, after I've put Linux on my system, do I want to put Windows on? Some people require it. They might need it for work. They might need it for a special program that they've spent maybe hundreds of dollars on that won't work on Linux, but will only work in Windows. So if you section off your hard drive into different chunks, okay, when your computer boots up, you have an opportunity to select which operating system you want to run at that time. Can't run them both at the same time, not in this way. Yes, there are alternatives such as using something like a VirtualBox, a virtual machine within Linux. There may be reasons why your programs for Microsoft may not run in that virtual environment. So if that's the case, this is why you're putting Windows on your hard drive alongside your Linux system. So we're going to do a little pretending. This is say, just forget this one side over here. Just pretend, it's not there. So this is the entire hard drive right here. And you want to make some room for Windows. Well, it's pretty simple. You click on this part right here to select it. And then you go into, you can right click and you can choose partition, resize, and move. Okay. And you get these little arrow things and you can drag them. You can drag them to the right, or if this was the whole thing, you could drag it to the left. You do have to be careful in some respects because we're putting Windows in after Linux. You're going to mess up what they call the grub, the boot sector on your hard drive. Don't worry about this. This is going to be fixed later on. Okay, so you're going to see this. It might fail. It probably will. Well, at least you won't be able to boot into Linux right away. And I'm going to show you how to fix that later. So as you can see now, we've moved that one partition to shrink it down a little bit, and we've got this block right here that we want to use. Okay. You can leave this unallocated, and this is what I'm going to suggest at this point, that we actually stop. After you go ahead and click OK to allow this to happen, it's going to go through all this junk right here where it's going to resize everything. And again, this is why I'm going to have this other page. I just did it again. I gotta stop doing that. Just gotta stop. Okay, so we'll let that boot back in. All right. gparted basics right here. Make sure you're using also, when you load this up, the right hard drive. As you noticed when I brought it up before, or disks, I've got gparted on here as well. Gparted. I thought I did. Well, guess what? This is kind of cool. We can do this. Sudo apt install gparted. Yeah. So this is something you don't normally run from within your operating system. This is usually something that you run from a bootable disk. Okay, so we're going to exit out of here. Gparted. Boom. There we go. Now, because I'm actually using my operating system, I have to do this. Okay. So here we are in Gparted. Just like the picture show, almost, kind of, sort of, right? All right, so this is my 1 terabyte archive drive. I'm not screwing with this. Well, I can a little bit. And then you can see that my my other hard drive down here is where I've put Windows on one side and I've put Linux on the other. So you can easily tell that because Windows is using the NTFS file system. I'm using Linux in ext4. So you can kind of see the differences here. Now, Windows will use different sections here for like if you have to repair or reinstall any of your software. And Linux will have a little boot sector here. You can also set it up so that you can have a swap section on your disk. I choose not to. That's my choice. So anyway, that's what it looks like there. But if I wanted to, for example, I want to resize and move this partition, which I'm going to do after I do this movie. But see, that's how easy it is. And then all this space right here is going to be unused. I can click resize and move, which I'm not going to do right now, but I can. And what it will do, it'll shrink this down. Okay, and there will be this big gray area here that says unallocated. And once I'm back in my Linux side, I can take this one, I can resize and remove, and I can't right now, just simply because I'm working on this disk, but I could grow it to expand into that unallocated area if I wanted to. So but right now what you're trying to do is you're trying to give yourself some room. Okay, so if you have a couple partitions here and you need to make some room, this is how you do it. Okay, and then you click resize, remove. It'll take a little while. It's just moving stuff around on your hard drive, and depending on whether you have an SSD or you have a spinning disk drive, SSDs are faster, but it depends on how large the hard drive is and how much information you're moving around too. So you're giving yourself some room right there to install Windows. And that's what this is all about. So this website right here is really good in showing you exactly what I've explained here in the video. I strongly recommend that you use either one of these two or both. You can use them in conjunction if you want to practice and understand what's going on. All right, so you've installed Windows in that space, because when you go into I think it's going to show it here. Yeah. You're going to remember that unallocated space. You're going to choose that to put your Windows on. All right. When you do this, it changes the bootloader. All right. For your Windows, for your computer to boot up. Instead of saying, I'm going to boot up into Ubuntu, it's strictly and only going to boot up into Windows. We can fix this. All right. So when you get done installing Windows and you reboot the machine and it doesn't have a list of what you can choose, fear not. This will be fixed. And we're going to be using something called Repair Grub Bootloader. Okay. You're going to log in, or you're going to use your thumb drive from Linux Mint or whatever. Okay. And you're going to go ahead and within Linux Mint, this is one of the things I like about Linux Mint, is they've already got this thing installed on their thumb drive or on their installer ISO, so you don't really have to screw around with it too much. You don't have to put in a PPA and download and install it onto the thumb drive and then call it up from there. It's already in it. So boot repair, these are the things that boot repair can do for you right here. You install it, or it's already running. Okay, but if you need to install it, this page has the instructions on how to install it. So on your thumb drive, on your thumb drive, you've loaded up into Linux Mint or your Try Ubuntu or something like that. If it's not on your I'll show you here. Boot. Repair. Odd that it's going to be on your thumb drive, but it's not going to be in your system. They probably figure you don't need it from within here anyway. So, install boot repair. Kind of thought that since it was on one, it would be on the other. At least I didn't say I assumed, huh? All right, so that's done. And boot repair. There we go. And again, since I'm already in my operating system, I have to do this. But when you're on the thumb drive, it's not going to show up. I'm not going to have it do a damn thing because I'm just showing you what it looks like, okay? This is what it's going to look like, more or less. And click here, recommend repair. Repairs most frequent problems, okay? It's going to run through a whole process. I'm not going to do it right now. This web page shows you, for example, operation aborted. There we go. So you launch it, just like I showed you before. Recommended repair. Do you want to upload your report to Pastebin? Why? I don't know why this would be of any use for you. I always click no. Okay, the process continues. All right, and it might take, depending on how fast your machine is, it might take all of, well, I think for me it takes all of 20 seconds altogether from the time that you click no to the time that it actually does the repair. You'll see this little report at the end. Just click OK. You'll see this text document fly up. I don't know how much use it's going to be to the average user, so I don't even try to save it. And this goes into what happens if you run into more significant problems. But from here, after you're done with that, you should be able to restart your computer, and you'll see the grub screen. And from the grub screen, you will see. See, there's an awful lot that you can do there. And maybe it's not going to show here. Maybe it will. Well, there you go right there. So when you repair the grub, when you first, after you boot and you see your desk or your computer's splash screen, you're going to see this. This is called grub. Actually, it's grub 2. I guess it's better than grub 1. And it shows right here that that there's Linux Mint installed, and then there's advanced options, and then there's another choice here where you can use your arrow keys, go down to like Windows 10 or whatever you've installed. And you can choose from here which one your computer is going to operate out of, Windows 10 or your Linux. You can, if you got a big enough hard drive, you can put a lot of different operating systems on your computer. Just partition them off and give yourself some space. You can have Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. I think you can put Vista on. I think you can. I think you can go back that far. And it's all cool. It's all good. Again, these are options that you have. You're not stuck on anything. If you're on a Mac machine, you have a little bit more flexibility because you'll be able to boot into either Mac, Windows, or Linux. On an Intel regular standard PC machine, you're only going to have PC or Linux or BSD if you've put that on, or whatever different operating system you choose to put on your computer. So once you select what you have, you just press enter, and it'll load right up into your operating system, and you're good to go. There is something to be aware of, and since I have done this, I can show you. All right. So on mine, I've shown you before. I have that 1 terabyte is my archive. This is my file system for Linux Mint under devices. This, because I didn't know how much room I was going to need for Windows, I made it really, really big. This is Windows. And from Windows, I can go into, let's see, users, and then from, like, I don't think I have anything in any of these. Okay. If I need to copy something while I'm in Linux from Windows, I can copy from here. See? I can copy, and I can paste it into, paste. There we go. I can paste it over to my my Linux side. Right now, you do not have the ability, unless you download special software within Windows, to be able to look into a Linux drive. And even then, I've had spotty luck with it, but it does work. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just, for me, it's been spotty, and I think it's just it could be me. It could be my computer. I have no idea. Bye Windows ISO. Bye Windows. So last night I put in Windows and I thought, I'll go ahead and do a short video showing how bad and choppy everything looks like using OBS or using the Logitech Capture software, which this is. And it was so bad. It was so choppy. And this was originally meant to be a Windows machine. You would think that it would have performed better, and it's horrid. It's absolutely horrid. If you thought some of my previous videos were choppy and unresponsive, well, you don't want to see the Windows version of that. It was so bad. It was like, why even bother bringing it in? Wasn't worth our time. Let's put it that way. So, very briefly, and I would strongly suggest that you read those websites to make sure that if you need to put Windows on top of your Linux, after you've installed Linux on your computer, read up on these first before you do anything. Back up your information. Make sure that you haven't lost your documents, your pictures, music, videos, whatever you've stored on your computer. Back up, okay? Because accidents do happen. The power may go out right in the middle of everything, and you are totally screwed. So just make sure you back up, read the instructions. If you're still not all that comfortable, come back to the video. I don't know how much help that's going to be. I think the instructions on those web pages are probably better. But I am just showing you it is possible. These are the resources that you can have to do this. Normally what will happen, and I don't know if I just said that correctly, but I'm going to try it again. These are the resources you will need if this is the path you've chosen, where you've put Linux on your entire computer and now you want to add Windows. So normally what happens, let me get back to that other point. Normally what happens is that people already have Windows on their computer, and they decide during the installation of Linux that they want to install it alongside Windows. So you can choose how much room you want for your Linux side versus your Windows side. The system automatically takes care of setting up Grub for you, so that when you reboot your computer, you have either Windows or you have Linux. So that's usually the easiest. So if you want to leave Windows on your machine and then install Linux, that's the best, safest way to do it. There are different installers that handle that process differently. I would say that the easiest installers are what they call Calamares, which you find in different distributions such as Manjaro. And I can't remember. There is something else in a Debian format that does the same thing. I just don't remember which one right now. With Linux Mint, you have to kind of like set up a size, and you have to work with partitions, very much like gparted, okay, but it's part of the installation software. And it's not hard. Just take your time, read, make sure if you have two hard drives that you're working with the right hard drive. So if one is only files, you don't want to screw with that one. If the other one has Windows on it and you want to keep Windows, don't reformat the whole drive. Just make one side smaller, make the other one bigger. You'll be good to go. That's what's going on with my computer right now. So I hope it helps. If it doesn't, leave a comment. If it does, leave a comment. If you just want to say hi, leave a comment. We're going to stop right there and say, don't drink and drive. Don't drive drunk. Don't buy crap off from eBay or Amazon if you're inebriated. And take good care of yourselves. The world's crazy enough as it is. Let's all try to stay a little sane. Bottoms up. Later, dudes. It's refreshing.